Whitlow.
Oh, I am Brendan D. Spivey.
Speaking to the mic, Brandon.
I am speaking into the mic, Aaron Whitlow.
And we are the Markout Movie Podcasters. And on today's episode, we're still continuing our summer blockbusters. We're taking a stop into 1984 with Gremlins, a cute movie about some little adorable mogwais that turn into vicious gremlins that pseudo kill people in this town. I say pseudo because there's some definite deaths that happen in this movie, and this is a kids movie, right?
Is it? Yeah, it kind of is.
All right,
Kinda. Sorta.
it's PG.
Yeah, anything
but it's 80s PG.
It's 80s PGs.
That's a different beast. All right, so a young man inadvertently breaks 3 important rules. This kid is Charlie. Is his name Charlie? I don't know. Billy. I keep thinking Charlie. Charlie's Fright Night. Anyway.
And Critters.
Yeah, and Critters.
Bradley would be the Billy character.
Yeah.
Critters.
And he breaks 3 important rules concerning his new pet and unleashes a horde of malevolent. I don't know the word. What's the word?
Where are we at?
Malevolently.
Yeah, I always have trouble with that one too.
Violent, mischievous,
malevolent or something
on a small town. Starring Zach Galligan as Billy Peltzer, the beautiful Phoebe Cates. Am I wrong?
Oh, she's attractive.
Yeah, exactly. Who's married to Kevin Kline?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, that's a both. And then as Kate Berenger, Randall Peltzer is played by Hoyt.
Oh, that's Calvin. Never mind.
What? No, yeah, she married Calvin Klein, the underwear dude. And
someone had to, right? I mean,
John Louis is a Chinese boy. We ain't gonna get into everybody.
Don't forget Judge.
Yeah, Judge Reinhardt, and then
this is around the time he did Beverly Hills Cop, right?
I think so. Maybe. Also, it's probably
he plays Billy in that.
He also did Fast Time at Ridgemont High. So him and Phoebe worked together before.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that movie.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll catch it on Blu-ray sometime.
Maybe. And then also you have Corey Feldman.
Oh yeah, Corey.
As the Christmas tree. But he's a little precocious kid.
I tell you, in the 80s, Corey was all over the place.
Corey was goat in the 80s. Before we get to that, though, I wanted to do a little something here. Real quick, let's talk about me and Brandon seen Quiet Place.
Oh, okay.
Quick thoughts on Quiet Place. Non-spoilers real quick, and then we might go into little spoilers real briefly. So, not your initial watch, your second watch, right?
Yeah, teenage girls.
Don't do the initial. Go to your second watch. So, I thought
there was no teenage girls.
I thought Quiet Place 2 was excellent. I thought the beginning of the movie was great. The pacing, the camera work, John Kranzinski, has in there, and the way they switches from sound to no sound.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. And Brandon, your thoughts?
Oh, I mean, the sound in itself.
Keep talking.
Is probably going to win an Academy Award. It's definitely going to get nominated for best sound. I love singing. Well, can I say? I can't because it'd be spoilers.
Well, we're about to get into
spoilers.
spoilers.
If you've seen the trailer, you do know that a certain character is in this movie. What are you doing?
Trying to put Gizmo in the shot.
But that is not what we're talking about at all.
That's random. I know random.
I love how it started on day. Can I say that at least?
All right. Well, spoilers. We're going into spoilers real quick. Go.
He knew it. He had it planned. He knew I couldn't do it. And my voice is going down. But I have a sinus infection. But anyway.
It's so much information, Brandon. Go ahead.
Well, I love to, to let the people know what's going on. I mean, that's who I am, man. I let people know.
Go ahead. Say what you're saying.
Like spoilers now. So, yeah, John Kranzinski is in this movie, and he's in the very beginning. And on day one, I love his character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I love seeing him.
This is my favorite character. I love Jim from Office, but this character, man.
This is your favorite John Krasinski character?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
the way he sacrificed himself at the end of the first movie, and just seeing him again.
Also, spoilers for the first movie if you hadn't seen it. But you shouldn't be on Quiet Place 2 if you hadn't, right? But
I would hope they wouldn't, but I love how it started. I love how they introduced Cillian Murphy's character in the day one. I think that was the whole point of showing day one. Introduce him.
Yeah.
And how he comes back into the fold. He's a beaten man, and he's given up.
And
he's lost. I mean, he's lost a lot, but.
And it's interesting to see how, like, the juxtaposition between John's family and his family. So John's family essentially survived in a quiet place, not going far from far within town, just to the store, back for the essentials. He learned how to hunt. Well, he probably already knew how to do all that stuff, but he fished and everything.
Yeah, he looked like a hunter.
He gathered. He knew how to keep his family alive and safe, and so they had the system that worked for him. Whereas the other guy,
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, his family didn't survive as much. I think he lost one of his kids day one or between the first couple of days, died because
a certain member, which I missed in the first viewing because.
Teenage girls
wouldn't shut up, and they kept getting up. And
Brandon, come here.
I'm calm. No, this is I've calmed down since the last Friday. I'm not gonna say what I said then. I apologize, by the way. I shouldn't say what I said. But you shouldn't be getting up.
Caught me off guard.
I knew it. I don't think I didn't watch it, but I told people I saw your eye just go up, like, oh my god. That's like, it wasn't planned at all. It was my honest reaction. I have no filter right now, so
yeah, no, he doesn't. But yeah, bottom line, so we can get into Gremlins. I thought the movie was great. Initially, I said great. Now, a couple of weeks has passed. I say that it was really great. It was really good. But it leads you to wanting to see whatever they do next, and that's
I think it can go multiple directions after watching it the second time. I think we get more of these people that were introduced. Whatever they were trying to do. I don't
like the weird drifter.
Yeah, the weird, whatever you call them, drifters.
Yeah, the gang. The gang of
that aspect they can go to. I think they will go that route. I think we'll see more of those people. I think that was just the introduction to these people. And I actually said Friday night that I didn't think it can go past another movie. I after watching it again, I do think it will. I think this could be like a saga.
Yeah, and they can really go into different aspects. It doesn't necessarily have to deal with Kranzinski's family. It can always.
Now, I think their story's gonna wrap up in the third movie.
Yeah, I would hope so. But yeah, that's our quick thoughts on that. Now we're gonna go into some summer blockbusters, Gremlins. Brandon, hit him with the numbers.
I'm gonna hit you with some numbers. I think.
I
had it loaded, and then we went to a quiet place, and it fell asleep. Okay, it's got a 7.3 on IMDb, 70% like it on Metacritic, 86% like it on Google, 85% like it on Rotten Tomatoes, which is certified fresh, and it's got a 78% audience score. So majority of people like it. It was made on $11 million budget in the summer of '84, and it's a good movie, by the way. And the box office total is $212.9 million, which makes it a blockbuster.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to talk about this real quick. Movies that came out that summer. Revenge of the Nerds, classic. The Last Starfighter, which is the
cult classic.
That's
a blockbuster?
No, just movies that came out that summer.
Oh, okay.
So this is what Gremlins was competing against, essentially. And it stayed and it gained money.
Yeah.
Spielberg is GOAT, although he's producer of this movie.
Chris Columbus wrote it and Joe Dante directed it.
Dante,
3 Giants.
Yeah, 3 Giants, absolutely.
I'm on today, baby.
You are there. Muppets Take Manhattan came out that year. We ain't gonna talk about The Bounty. I never heard of it. 16 Candles.
It's Mel Gibson.
Yep. 16 Candles. Sheena.
They made a movie about her?
It's like I don't know. It's like a knockoff She-Ra thing. You think of She-Ra?
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
No, Chud.
I've never seen Chud.
Firestarter.
Tightrope.
Tightrope.
I should let you do it.
Purple Rain. Choose Me. The Brother from Another Planet, which I actually like that movie. Streets of Fire. Doing the podcast. And let's see, Uncle something, Top Secret, Never Ending Story, Conan the Destroyer, Karate Kid, several other things came out. Red Dawn, Gremlins, Adventures of Buckaroo, something another, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, Ghostbusters, and number one movie is Once Upon a Time in America. I disagree. But anyway,
I've never seen. Is that De Niro?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
but maybe it is good. I don't know. Maybe
Probably Scorsese.
the adult me will like it, but the kid me wanted Gremlins. Actually, in '84, fun story. When I seen Gremlins, probably not in '84. Let's be real. I probably seen it in '85 or so, because in '84 I was 4. So, but I do remember. I do remember when I saw Gremlins. I remember being afraid, being frightened by this movie, and it was the scene with the mom being attacked by the Christmas tree with the gremlin inside of it and stuff. Yeah. I remember in the Do You Hear What I Hear? And it just so eerie. It's such a uplifting song, but it sounds so eerie coming from in this film. But yeah, but that's my quick little story on the Gremlins. But obviously I didn't stray away from horror. I went straight into it.
Yeah, I don't remember when I saw it first. I would say late '80s. I would have been about 4 or 5. I don't think. I probably saw it in the '90s. Probably around time Gremlins 2 came out. Probably did a double feature on VHS when it came out. Mm-hmm. And fun fact is I actually really enjoyed both films initially.
Oh, the original
Gremlins and Gremlins
2. Yeah.
I hate Gremlins 2 now though.
That movie has grown on me now.
I like Hulk Hogan
as a cult classic, and I think it truly has a cult following.
It does have a cult following,
but it's not by no means like So Gremlins, the first film was taken serious, like it was from a serious perspective in the sense of, these creatures attacking the town. Although it had some funny moments, like the Gremlin opening his coat to Phoebe Cates. And and all these things like that. It had some really funny moments, but then that one leaned more into comedy. Matter of fact, somebody in the control room says, "What's these rules? The 3 rules? How do you know that midnight? Is it midnight in China or is it midnight here in the United States? It's different. Things like that. Making fun of it. But I thought it was fun. But this movie, the first one, I just want to say one thing. Oh, 2 things. One, the poster for this movie is misleading. So if you look at the original poster, you can kind of make out Gizmo's face in it. It's kind of how he looked in the film. But the re-release of the poster, the Gizmo that they went with on the cover is more like the Gizmo from Gremlins 2. Do you feel that way? Like
I don't know. I shared the one poster and you couldn't really see his face. You just see his little hands coming out of the box.
Yeah. But another thing.
I did see a couple posters, but
Billy is not a responsible owner of any pet. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Billy, essentially, first of all, how are you gonna have Gizmo and let little Corey Feldman come into your house, drinking milk or whatever, and knocked over water, right?
Yeah, I don't think he was actually paying attention to the rules.
Yeah, I know he wasn't. Like it's like, oh well, it's fine.
I mean,
no, pay attention to these rules. If your dad say, look, man, there's 3 important rules. First, no lights, no sunlight. It'll kill them. Second rule, don't feed them. No, that's the second. What's the second rule? Don't never get them wet. Don't no baths. No nothing like that. Third rule, never whatever you do, feed them after midnight.
Yeah.
Don't feed them after midnight.
That's the most important rule.
Most important rule.
Which should be number 1.
Billy's like, oh, y'all want some chicken? Here. Although,
but he looked at the clock and it said 11 something, but they had chewed up the cord. So, to his credit, he didn't know it was past midnight.
Yeah, it was little precocious things. They're not. That's the wrong word. They're not precocious. So let me ask you, when you was watching this movie, what's your thoughts on Gizmo? What do you think
I
about?
love Gizmo.
And Howie Mandel voiced Gizmo, by
Yes,
the way.
and it's like little Bobby from Bobby's World.
He says once in the comedy stand up that he made money using one voice, just three different ways: Gizmo, Bobby, and
What was the other voice?
he did a. It's the same voice, and he did it for something else, and it's essentially still Gizmo's voice. And he says yes, he made money just using the same voice. What movie? Let me see. Now I'm on the wild. But go ahead and tell me what you think.
I mean, I love Gizmo. I always have loved Gizmo. He's just adorable. He's just so adorable. You can't help but love the little guy. I, as far as Gremlins though, and I do still enjoy the movie, but I feel like each time I watch it, I like it less and less. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just.
You
I
think
feel
when
like
you first watching it, you was watching it more through like kid eyes,
Yeah.
like as a child enjoying it versus now you look at it and you're like so. I feel you on that because like when in watching this, I do want to mention one thing. I said three or four things. For one thing, I do want to mention this father's inventions. How the family always like groans every time they go to use this stuff because they know it's not going to work. But his dad keeps trying to invent stuff. All right, so
what you're saying? He's not very good.
He's not really good. So let me explain this to the people that haven't seen this movie. The father's in Chinatown, and he's trying to sell his inventions on the street, essentially to people. And his kid tells him to come to his grandfather's antique shop. So he goes to the shop, and he doesn't really see anything, but he tries to sell him on the Pocket Buddy, which is like a portable. It's like a Swiss Army knife, but with like a razor, toothpaste, mirror, things like that. It's a good idea for an invention, right? But it just
they made it eventually.
Yeah, they really did. But he ends up hearing Gizmo singing, and so he offers the guy like $200 to $300 just for Gizmo. The guy would not sell him. The guy's grandson essentially stole the Gizmo.
Yeah.
And he sold it to him for like $200 or $300, and told him the rules. He took it home. Now Billy got it. He's about to open it up. They're about to turn the lights down, and see Gizmo. But yeah, essentially he stole, but he didn't steal it. It was given to him under false pretenses.
Yeah.
I
agree. It was, that scene. I think is a cool scene. Being in Chinatown, and this grandfather doesn't want to sell Gizmo because he knows what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think I know you said that Billy's not responsible. I think what does end up happening in the movie would happen with anybody. I mean, you got three. It feels like you got three simple rules, but they're really not.
No, there really isn't.
I mean, accidents happen. I can honestly say, try not to get wet. I would end up getting wet, with like an animal or something.
I would totally get wet.
Now the lights you could prevent. I do believe. I think that's one rule you probably can accept. But sometimes you just would forget, what time it is, and you would feed them. But I mean, overall, I like the story. I like the concept. I'll let you take over. So I can let you.
So the idea that there we go. The idea that the Gremlins have these three rules that you got to abide by, essentially. And if you think about it from the outward perspective, you're like, oh, that's simple. Yeah, don't feed them at the midnight. Don't get them wet.
Mm-hmm.
and also don't get them in the sunlight or light. They don't like light. You can kill them. It's simple, but it's really in reality not as simple. It's not. It's hard to keep this creature like literally clean. You cannot in reality take them outside because like when they opened up the thing, like the dog, I noticed the dog licks Gizmo's ear, but I'm like, oh well, I know that they didn't mean for that to happen. The dog being a dog licks the animatronic toy, and animatronic robot Gizmo, and but it's just, but it was cute. It's a cute idea, and of course when they get them wet, they multiply, and there's a bunch of more little, depending on the wetness. If you get a little drop, it's gonna create one. If like he spills like a jar of water on them, and it creates like 4 or 5, maybe 4 or 5. One of them being Stripe, who is not Gizmo.
No, he's Stripe.
He's Stripe, but which I like Stripe. Stripe is actually one of my favorite Gremlins. Is like the little mohawk and stuff. And Stripe Stripe really didn't to the end. He really didn't like cause a lot of havoc as much as like in my opinion. I think Stripe was more of the like leader, but the other ones did more stuff, and Stripe was just always watch him do it until the end when Billy's trying to take down Stripe. That's when Stripe actually attacks Billy.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the movie though, I like certain characters in the movie. The one I really do like seeing though is the woman at the beginning. She reminds me of the Wicked Witch.
The Scrooge type lady.
Yeah, but
what's her name?
She's got a little problem with the dog.
They said her name, like because they sent her flying through a chair.
Yeah, I don't remember her name. Mrs. I don't know.
Tickle. Mrs. Tickle. That's what he says. Tickle. Hey, what do you think about this juicer? That's funny. But
I don't think much of the juicer. I think it's another failed invention.
That's also a terrible invention. You put a whole orange in there, and you expect to get orange juice, and the pills. It's just terrible. Terrible idea. Look at all that open space. It's terrible. But anyway, the father's not a good inventor. I'm surprised they have a home and a mortgage. But yeah, I'm hating on the dad. He should have been there. He should have been there the whole time, but he wasn't. Anyway,
if he'd been there, it wouldn't be much of a movie, though.
This is true. It's true. But
his whole point was to be away.
Yeah, it was his whole point. You see a very young Corey Feldman. This is pre-Goonies, post Friday 13th.
Yeah, he's got the same hair.
Yeah, so he probably shot those really close to one another.
I wonder which one he appreciates more.
Probably Gremlins.
Think so?
Yeah, I'm sure Corey appreciates Gremlins.
I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't. I just, Tommy Jarvis,
Yeah, but he, like, you can tell he had fun with this one. Like, like there's a scene where he, like, when that juice pops up, he kind of reacts to it. You can tell that it just, like, kind of shocked him. But yeah, this movie, look, I'll be honest, man. Watching it again, it's not another time. I've watched it several times over my 41 years of life, but I just feel like it doesn't hold up as well for me. And it's sad 'cause I love Gizmo, and maybe ideally I loved Gizmo.
You love what he represents.
Yeah, and I love the Christmas aspect of this, like the small town. I love seeing the small town portion of it.
It's all about those towns. I'm telling you, he loves seeing those small towns and realistically seeing them and believing it is a small town. You always go to the small town.
I do like the small towns. I love seeing the people in the community and stuff like that. It
feels like a real community.
Yeah.
But I think what kind of loses me is some of the Gremlins. They don't. I don't know. I don't want to trash it or anything.
No, it's not trashing it. I mean, just be honest.
It's just it doesn't hold up with them as much. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can tell they're What are they?
Animatronics. Yeah, you can tell they're animatronics. And in the sequel, I think that they improved because Gizmo himself
like
looks better.
Look.
Gizmo looks better. Gizmo looks more polished,
That's
rounded,
what I would
more
say
cartoonish. That's what I was getting. That's my idea. That's my reason for bringing up the poster because and I just lost my train of thought. But all right, so for Brandon, this is the original poster. You can barely see Gizmo in there, but uh, that's going with the mysterious nature of it. Let me see if there's a alternate on this. I don't think so. But if you look at Gremlins, let me go to. There's another poster of Gremlins, and that's the one that you'll see whenever you buy it on DVD. That's the one that I own. I believe I own it on DVD somewhere. But here it is. This poster right there.
Oh yeah.
You can tell that Gizmo looks a lot better. He's more polished and looks.
That's the one thing I would say about the sequel is they look much better.
Yeah, and that's my point. I think that this one, I feel that.
But it's understandable. This movie cost $11 million in '84, so I mean, it's not like a big gripe because you're dealing with something that you didn't have a lot of money and you didn't have a lot of money to polish up the animatronics, But I still say for what it was, it still looks good for 1984.
Yeah, and look, like for instance, I'm going back just to show him, like this is not Gizmo, but maybe they do show Gizmo right here, and he shakes his head. But look,
yeah, he does shake his head.
Look at his eyes. His eyes are just like it seems like his eyes stop, like right on the surface level. Like it's not deep.
Yeah.
Like it's not real. It seems like a puppet. It doesn't seem like a real actual creature. And I'm excited if they were to remake it because can you imagine how they look today? They look so much better.
They will never. Well, I don't see them.
They're doing a mogwai animated version, but
they're
I thought he doesn't look as good.
And there's a script has been written for Gremlins 3. Just will it ever get made? It's a question. I think it will. I think the TV series, the animated TV series, will do really well, and I think it'll put it in motion for Gremlins 3.
Yep.
And it'd be good to see Zach again. I don't know if the father's still alive or not.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
I would even say bring back Corey.
If Corey is up to it.
Corey's up to it. He ain't doing anything relevant.
I would love to see them. I would love to see because Phoebe stopped acting, but I would love to see her return for this role with Zach as like they're married now and they have kids. They have grandkids. Yeah, because at this point
I don't feel they should pass the torch. That's what the whole point for their characters should be, passing the torch to grandkids. Kind of like Ghostbusters is doing.
Yeah, I can see that, but
he did it on purpose and he knows it.
Yeah, but
his dad was shaving cream.
And watch him lick it because it's really whipped cream. He licks out the corner of his lips, but yeah, you can tell I've seen this movie way too much. Nobody you would have cringed like, it's whipped cream. And now it's all gone. See how fast it's all gone? Continuity, Joe Dante. But yeah.
Not going against Joe, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm never gonna. Man, he made one of my favorite movies of the '80s, which is The Burbs. I won't go against you, Joe. But
that is a great movie. Feldman's also in that.
Yeah,
so.
he loves using Corey. He loves using Dick Miller. Those are his guys, man. But
did he do the sequel? That's my question, Joe.
I don't know.
Or was that Columbus?
It might have been Columbus. Ugh, that's gross. What did you think? Oh, by the way, first person to die in this movie was a black guy.
He just had to go there. He's been going there since I came over.
Am I wrong?
First it was Friday the 13th films. Now it's Gremlins.
Who dies first? The teacher.
Yeah, he did die before the older guy died, didn't he?
Yeah. He died trying to feed him a baby Ruth or something.
Yeah, he deserved it. I mean.
Yeah, he did. He
was mean.
Like the gremlin probably would have been nice to him if he hadn't drawn his blood before.
Yeah, he was mean to that gremlin.
He's pretty mean to that gremlin. He seemed like a really nice gremlin. He seemed like another Gizmo.
But he was a teacher. He just didn't come off very nice.
No.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he deserved to die, but he deserved something. He was mean to the gremlin. I'm not saying he deserved to die, though. No one deserves to die because you mistreat a gremlin.
Yeah.
But you do deserve to get your hand bitten off if you mistreat a gremlin.
But I think that he got murdered. I'm
he
pretty sure.
clearly got murdered.
Yeah. Look, the dog.
And even the gremlin.
You know, originally, that's what I was going to tell you real quick. Originally, this scene was darker. That dog was supposed to be dead. Like, he was supposed to come outside and find his dog.
Can't kill dogs in
I know.
PG
Yeah. Well, back then, there's like that. Like a couple of Easter eggs. That was initially the dog was dead. The dog would have died right then. The mom dies also in the original script of this movie, I believe.
You were saying this was Spielberg's E.T. At first, right?
No. Spielberg wanted to make Poltergeist is what Spielberg wanted for, but then they came up with E.T. But no, Spielberg is in this too. You know, he's there. But
I don't feel it's as much Spielberg as Columbus and
it feels more of Joe Dante.
I feel like Spielberg just kind of helped by putting his name on it. Give him a little
money. Yeah. But I just think that, but also like another thing. So at the very beginning, I meant to mention it when we passed it, but at the very beginning, and I'll go back to this part. We ain't really watching it, but when he's going through the town right here, he's going through the town and they show a marquee at the movie theater. The two movies that they're playing is the working title for one of them is the working title for E.T. The other is the working title for Close Encounter of the Third Kind.
Spielberg.
Yeah, to Spielberg. There's an Easter egg for Spielberg. I'm trying to. So and
also Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Oh, I never thought about that. Yeah. You know, I love, and I know I go back to the small town, but I loved how it felt. Like the beginning of the movie is my favorite part of the movie, I think, is the beginning of it. Just seeing this town and people living in this town doing town stuff. And, you know, I love.
It feels like it's a live town. I mean, I have to admit this. It does. And I'm not trying to bash on this movie because I actually still like it. I just don't love it like I did as a child. But you know, but I agree with you as far as the town goes, and I do believe every character is realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like we haven't spoken much of Judge in this movie.
Judge Rhino, the best judge I know.
Well, yeah, that's true. I hate him in this movie though, and I love him. I think
just a credit to his acting.
Yeah. I mean, he's
such a prick in this movie.
He's a douche. He's a douche.
Yeah,
he really is. And he's trying to go out with what's her name? Phoebe. When I hear Phoebe, I think Friends. But he's trying to go out with her, and she's so not interested. And I love how Billy reacts to the situation in the bar or the diner or wherever they are. I think it's a bar, but there's alcohol being served, so it's a bar. But I love that he's trying so hard. And it's like, why don't you come over to my apartment? I didn't go to your last apartment.
Yeah.
I got cable TV.
Have you seen my new apartment?
Yeah.
And she says, I've never seen your old apartment.
Yeah.
You know, and Billy kind of chuckled. Real
Boy's
quick.
Life was De Niro in DiCaprio.
No, actually, later on. A Boy's Life.
I'm just saying.
A Boy's Life was the working title for E.T. That's what the movie was called, A Boy's Life. And then the working title for
I can see the Watch the Skies.
Watch the Skies, yeah. You know, I noticed that they got an E. That's neat. A little Easter egg there. E.T., right? But also, Dick Miller, I wonder how far removed he was from Terminator in this movie.
Same year?
Mm-hmm. Oh, he was a busy man this year. Okay. I was just wondering that. I kind of seen him because Dick looks fairly young at that point in this movie.
I'm trying to think of him in Terminator, though.
He was the guy that was selling the...
That's right.
Yeah, he's the first guy that Terminator kills.
Yeah,
like Arnold kills the guy.
Yeah, at the gun store.
Yeah.
I had to think for a second. It's like my bad because I love that movie and I know that movie so well. But I had to think.
Yeah, Dick Miller, man, a bucket of blood.
Yeah, that was a good scene. I like that scene.
He's one of the three characters that return in Gremlins 3, obviously.
Two.
And what Gremlins 2?
We don't have a 3.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, man, also, it's crazy.
How's he returning?
That's what this is
It's been a while since I've seen 2.
This is a
I actually didn't show
what's the movie that we just for Independence Day. This is another Independence Day type of scenario.
Well, technically,
because he literally and there you see Delta die. You've seen the Data was the dude that played Data. You see that he's dead.
He's dead.
He's totally dead. Here, the plow is coming forward. You assume they die.
Yeah, I mean you assume, but you don't actually see it. So
and the camera shakes a little bit as if like impact.
Yeah, I mean to the normal eye, the man's dead.
He's dead, but he returns in the sequel.
They explained it though, right? It's vaguely coming back.
Vaguely remember, like I think they said
he's still injured.
Yeah, or no,
right?
Like I think he still has PTSD, although they didn't say PTSD.
Is he also in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I hadn't seen it in so long. I don't remember. Was it a cab driver?
Sequel or I don't know. I want to say
he's only pretty much in Dante films. He shows up in a lot of Dante films, but
I mean, he's a great character actor.
Yeah,
I love watching every time he does pop in.
God rest his soul. He died maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I think Dick Miller died, but yeah, he was good. She has such a sad story in all these movies.
Yeah, she hates Christmas.
She hates Christmas because didn't her dad die playing Santa Claus? He broke his neck.
Yeah, climbed down chimney.
They smelled something.
Yeah,
and they found his body. And then like in the sequel, she hates like President's Day or Lincoln Day or something like that because like she's seeing the ghost of Abraham Lincoln or something. I don't know. It's just so dumb. But that one they're doing that to show just like I said, part 2 leans more into just weirdness because you have Hogan showing up. You know,
my favorite part.
The moment that they break the fourth wall and Hogan shows up and they're watching Gremlins.
Yeah, he's watching Gremlins.
Gremlins 2. He's watching Gremlins 2
but he's wearing his championship belt in a movie theater.
He's dressed in his garb. I think he had his tights on and everything, right?
Not even Big Show would have watched with a belt on in a movie theater.
Well, you paid him enough. I bet you they paid him enough to watch in a movie theater with a belt. That's Hogan's goal. It's
ridiculous, though. It's just so ridiculous first off, it's ridiculous that they got him.
Hogan could do no wrong in the 80s. That's all I'm saying. But
this is early 90s, though. This is 1990.
Was it?
He couldn't do wrong in the 90s.
He couldn't do no wrong then.
But a couple years later, he did a little wrong.
Yeah, he did some wrong. Hogan went down.
Then he went and turned on Vince.
We can't talk about Hogan.
We can't talk about Hogan.
Yeah, we
will talk about you, Hogan, because you got a biopic coming. So we will get there.
We will get there. But Gremlins. So, all right. Here's the doctor guy.
And Aaron hates it because he's black and he's gonna die.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
it's the black curse.
Yeah, it is. It's the thing, man. Black folks die in horror movies.
But thanks to certain filmmakers today, y'all have y'all's own subject.
Dang, bro, it sounds so racist. But yeah.
No, I'm just saying Jordan Peele has really shined a great light.
That's like somebody told me. That's like somebody told me once. They like,
I'm not being racist at all.
They're like.
I'm saying y'all have y'all's.
They said I feel so bad for what y'all went through, but hey, now Obama's president, so it's good, right? I was like, what? Seriously? But anyway, someone said it to me for real. But anyway, moving on.
I mean, ask a question. As a black man, do you consider Obama black?
Yes, he is.
He's partially black.
He's black. He's black enough.
He comes off more of a Muslim. Though.
Oh my gosh, you can't, Brandon.
I mean, he does.
Gremlins, Brandon.
I know. I know. I'm just saying. He's
Gremlins.
He's a really big sports guy, though. I don't hate Obama, by the way.
Okay. It's going downhill. Oh Lord. I'm glad nobody's tuning in right now. I see.
I bet they're tuning in on your page and they're like,
well,
he just called Obama a Muslim. No, I said he's like.
Okay, Brandon.
But if you remember back when he became president, there was a huge topic
Gremlins
about his background.
Tell me about Gremlins. Brandon. My God. Yeah, right.
I didn't know we were going to go into this.
I didn't know you were going to go into that. But,
you brought him up.
But you brought him up in a negative. But anyway.
Is it really a negative?
It is a negative. Anyway, so Brandon, this is
My
the part where they're
apologies
eating
to
the
all the
chicken.
Obama fans.
They're eating the chicken, and they become
They become.
the Gremlins that we
Yeah.
know and
Yeah.
don't love. But
You don't love the Gremlins?
you
I mean, I know we love and adore Gizmo, but come on, I mean,
yeah, I
they're
do.
bad.
I do. But
without them, where's the fun?
The thing is, like, this movie doesn't hold up for me.
Oh.
Like when it comes to look at the old Sprite can, by the way. But it doesn't hold up as far
Product
as
placement.
like yeah, but it's like 80s product placement, so it's kind of cheap.
What's-
But it's actually good. That's how you do it back then. You just have it like sprinkled in the scene, and not so much like Independence Day where dudes like Coke can, you know. But it's not like Stranger Things where dude literally is drinking like Coke Zero, Coke. What is it? New Coke. It was like New Coke is better than blah blah blah. You know.
I don't know.
You've seen it.
I've seen it, but I'm not paying attention to the Coke products.
So this is when the black teacher dies.
All right, back to it.
So it's actually a Snickers bar that he's trying to feed the gremlin.
But the whole point, the reason he gets killed is because he gave him the shot, and that's evident when he's dead.
No, the whole reason why I get killed is because he fed him after midnight.
Well, that too, but
did he actually feed him after midnight?
Yeah,
he just ate his
like
food.
It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
But he just grabbed his food and ate him. Did he not? Not Charlie.
No, he didn't Billy not feed him. He didn't really feed him.
But Billy also didn't tell him no rules either.
No, because Billy wasn't paying attention to his dad.
Billy's an idiot.
But the reason he does
it's
get
all
killed
Billy's fault. He should have been
because of the needle. And it's evident the next morning because they find him with a needle in his butt.
Yeah.
So I mean that was the whole point.
So essentially he's paying him back.
They're like kids. No kid likes needles.
Yeah, oh yeah, there is a needle in the butt. You're right.
I know, I watched it.
I never noticed a needle in the butt.
Really?
Even though they zoom in on it.
Yeah.
But then they
say, hey, this is the reason you died.
And then
I know what Aaron's
that's the first gremlin that you see, like when it pops out. You probably don't remember your initial reaction when you was a kid.
Nah.
I do remember it scaring me. That like seeing the gremlins like that, I remember it freaking me out. But what was your reaction with the mom scene with this? This is by far the scariest scene in the movie. And it's not really a horror film, although I think today you would consider it pseudo horror.
I would put it in the horror comedy.
It's like for a person, if a kid wanted to get into horror, this would be a movie that they can get into it. And also, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is really a movie that you want to watch to really get into horror. If you're not really there yet, like don't go straight into like Conjuring. You want to tippy toe your way into the horror genre.
Yeah, you do. I would even say Goosebumps for kids today would be probably where you start.
Yeah, something like that. In the 80s, it would have been this, or even that Large Marge scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It was freaked me out. It wasn't really a horror, but it was scary. It scared me.
That was a creepy scene.
I'm trying to think of what Poltergeist maybe. Poltergeist is pretty hard, man. I don't know. I wouldn't say just tippy toe your way in. That's can mess you up.
Yeah, it can mess you up.
I can't think of in the 80s. Monster Squad maybe. That would be a safe bet to go into.
I mean, I hadn't watched a whole lot of horror films in the 80s that were kid friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Monster Squad's one. I would say Gremlins.
Look at that green blood.
I would say Gremlins is another one, but I don't know. Can't really think. I mean, Ghostbusters. It's horror comedy. I mean,
it does have some scary scenes in there, like the whole library stuff at the very beginning. It was kind of creepy. Slimer was cartoonish, although
but you gotta love Slimer.
You gotta love Slimer. Back then, hey, fun fact: Slimer, because he was gonna do Ghostbusters, but he decided not to. Fun fact: Slimer was essentially the ghost of John Belushi. John Belushi? Which one's still living? Jim's dead. Jim's living. John's dead. So John Belushi.
I knew that.
Dan Aykroyd, he created a ghost version of John.
Yeah.
To live on, which that's who the Slimer is. Slimer's John.
He's still around.
Still around. Ain't that something?
It is. It's
Pretty great homage to do
I
for a
don't
friend.
think they initially thought, okay, this character's going to be huge.
Well,
But when I think of Ghostbusters, I actually do think of Slimer.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes even before the Ghostbusters. I mean,
the initial Ghostbusters was going to be Dan,
Eddie
yeah, and John. Those three. I don't think Bill Murray was going to be in the talks. But then when John died, John was going to carry the film. John was a huge star back then, and so
back then, it's hard to imagine John without Dan.
Yeah,
it's not even the Blues Brothers.
It's
not just that. They did several films together.
He also was in 1984, 1980 something.
41.
1941.
They both were.
Yeah, so I didn't even realize that. And then I've never seen it. I've heard of it. I've never
Spielberg's attempt at comedy.
Really?
Said attempt.
But yeah, so it's gonna be John Belushi. It's gonna be Eddie Murphy. There's actually one. I think I don't know how true this is. I always heard that there's like at least one. This is the scene that scared me as a kid. That tree in the eyes.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out because it just like it can be scary as a kid, right?
Anything can be scary as a kid.
Yeah, but that and the mom getting scratched and stuff, you just like and look at Stripe. That's why I say he just looks. He pretty much creates the havoc, but he doesn't take part in the havoc.
I would like to ask you something though.
Yeah.
Because these two films get compared to each other so much. Critters and Gremlins. Which do you prefer as a kid? Which do you prefer now? Or is it
Gremlins and what?
Critters.
The one that holds up more for me is Critters. Actually, is because I think that Critters, like how I love the small town feel.
Yeah.
Critters has that small town. Like it feels
like a really
very small town. Like the family feels real. Dee Wallace, you can't go wrong with Dee. Just
the father's good too.
The father's good. Man.
Billy Zane's
Charlie's
in
great.
Movie.
Billy Zane's in it. Yeah, he gets killed first.
Hey,
it's not. Hey, I'm not gonna go there. Billy Zane dies, but actually Billy Zane gets his fingers bit off first, and then because he tries to cut off the radio.
But he's doing a horror trope, and you shouldn't do, and that's trying to have premarital sex.
Yeah, it's another trope. But no. To answer your question, Brandon.
Yeah.
Critters is, if this was a versus mode, I would choose Critters over Gremlins, honestly, because Critters, to me, the first film is to me the better film. And I know it's controversial because Gremlins is a bigger budget, but Critters is horror. Yeah, Critters is horror. It's straight horror. It was their answer to they say, "Oh, you like E.T.? Well, let me make Critters." They're not your friend. They want to kill you. Eat you.
And I don't know if it came out the same year as Gremlins or not.
Gremlins had spawned a bunch of knockoffs, right? Like of course there was Ghoulies. There was another one called Munchies or something like that. Yeah. They're literally like Gremlins. It's just, but none of them compare.
If you make something,
they consider Critters. I guess Critters did come out at the Gremlins because they consider Critters a knockoff of Gremlins, but Critters actually is, to me, its own thing.
Yeah, I look at it as its own thing. I actually look at it more inspired by E.T. than Gremlins, but it is what it is. But I actually agree with you. Even as a kid, I always liked Critters better. I was a horror.
Yeah, Critters came out in 86.
It's 2 years after. But even as an adult, I like Critters better. I was just curious on your take because I know you love the people behind this movie. And
yeah, I'm a huge Joe Dante fan. And Ghoulies came out in 84. I just wanted to see that. And then Munchies, I said. But no, I'm a huge Joe Dante fan. And Munchies is 87. But yeah,
I haven't even seen those knockoffs. Munchies, Ghoulies.
I remember Munchies, but like none of them compare. Like that's why I wouldn't really consider Critters a knockoff of Gremlins, because to me Critters has its own, like it's not that they multiplied; they crash land. They were like an alien.
Yeah.
They were alien prisoners that crashed on Earth. They escaped and they crash on Earth, and there they actually in this small town, and they reside in this barn, and they are hungry, so they start eating things, eating people, eating the town, killing the town.
They're man eaters.
Bounty hunters come in. I love the idea of the bounty hunters having to pick a face. I love that.
Yeah.
Like this is it's they had original concepts, so it's not to me a knockoff of Gremlins because Gremlins, you have one Gremlin that multiplies into multiples, and then they get wet and they become the Gremlins. They mogwais become Gremlins. That's it.
I'm gonna make a statement though for this movie, Gremlins.
Yeah.
There's a certain scene in the movie where one of the Gremlins laughs,
Mhm.
and I truly believe this. It inspired the Chucky laugh because it sounds just like Chucky. And of course, this came 4 years
84,
before
yeah.
Chucky. So I do believe it inspired Chucky's laugh, at least.
Also,
Because it sounds just like him.
let me talk about something too. Another something that you don't see in movies today, well, you can't do it. The Gremlins did back then in '84. So it's Dick Miller's character always talks about it like as xenophobia, xenophobia in a sense, because he's like, oh, don't buy nothing foreign, no foreign cars, no foreign products,
Oh,
and that's another. There's another movie where it's like, remember where someone sees a car and the car is driving by itself? They say it must be a Japanese car. Like you remember that a movie like that? If somebody seen it, like I think it was like a movie where I think it was actually it's Heavenly Kid.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the ghost is driving, and they see the car driving by itself. They say it must be a Japanese car. It's just like back in the '80s. You can make those.
I really like that movie too.
You can't do that these days.
No, you can't. You can't. No, you can't. You can't. No, you sure can't.
But so look, all right. So the Gremlins is on this scene. They're in the plow, and they're going to Dick Miller's house, and they are trying to kill Dick and his family, or his wife. But I think both actors returned for the sequel, and I was happy to see that.
But there is a chair
but
in the
look,
way.
Look. You see, but maybe they hit the chair.
Oh, he definitely hit the chair.
Maybe they hit the chair and they was able to escape because there's in the sequel. You don't technically see them die. I agree with you. That's true.
You don't.
Brandon, you're right.
It is the escape.
They escaped. Okay. All right. But just if they didn't make a sequel, you would think they died.
Yeah, I mean, because they're not seen in the rest of the movie. But where does the film for you? Because you don't like it as much like me. Where does the film start to drag for you? Or does it drag?
It does. It drags. Like, so this movie is, as far as I know, is the first film that really show something wreaking havoc in a small town and destroying everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's now you've seen it in everything. Eight-Legged Freaks, other films like this, Critters, as we said,
Stranger Things.
Yeah, you see that. But it starts to drag for me at the bar scene. From the bar scene was entertaining enough because there was enough to see. No. The bar scene with the Gremlins.
Okay.
Where they're in there, they're eating, and Phoebe's still trying to serve them. Like, who in their right mind would still try to serve these creatures?
So, let me ask you a question. Did Judge ever show back up after the first
I don't think
act
so.
and a half?
I don't think so.
I was like, I
don't think they knew what to do with him. They just left him alone.
When I first saw this movie, I thought they killed him at the desk. He was working at his desk. I don't know. Maybe I dreamt this. Maybe I had nightmares.
like a what's it called? A Mandela effect.
Yeah. Because I remember him dying. I don't know if I actually dreamt it or I actually saw it. Maybe it was a deleted scene. I don't know. Because I was like, okay, if he doesn't die in this movie, okay, maybe he came back for a sequel, but I looked it up and he didn't. So I was like, I don't know, but I remember him dying.
You remember these guys, cops, and that's the only thing about this small town stuff too, is the cops never believe what they're saying. Like,
Yeah, it's a horror trope though.
yeah, oh,
The
come on,
cops don't
kid.
believe the locals.
Like literally, they just seen Gremlin. They seen Gizmo, so there's like proof that these things really exist. And but they, um, I think this is Mrs. Teagle's house. Yeah. Now Teagle for sure dies.
Yeah.
Deagle, Mrs. Deagle, she for sure dies. They actually cause she was one to throw. She was gonna go throw water on the carolers, which that would have been terrible for them because they would just multiply. but but yeah, so she gets into her little
But
lady.
I would say that is
thing.
the one character you hope dies.
No, I never hope no one dies, but she's a mean
I mean,
character.
it's a horror film, man.
She's a mean character, and she gets.
You don't feel bad when she dies.
She gets a just desserts. Like she goes shooting
It's
out
not
the
like
window.
she has a horrifying death. It's comical.
Yeah, she goes blue out the window.
It's comical.
Ooh.
I mean, it's
Ooh,
not
she
like,
landed on the street. She dead.
Yeah, she did. I mean,
She died.
They're singing,
they laughing.
They're celebrating the death, and that's a time for me. That's a time like, yes, I'm with you, Gremlins.
So you're okay with Gremlins killing mean old women?
Mean people, yes, I am.
But that's the only mean person they kill. They don't kill Judge Reinhold.
No, they killed the teacher though. He was mean.
Unless it's Judge in the Santa Claus outfit. I doubt it. He doesn't seem like a Santa type.
No, Santa doesn't deserve to die. But I'm just saying.
And then they also they also snip the brake lines from the police cruiser.
Yeah, somehow.
And there's a bunch of biting it, I guess.
See, in Critters they showed it.
Huh?
Biting though.
You just seen it.
No, in Critters they actually show it though.
Oh yeah. You just seen them do it too.
Did I?
Yeah, you missed it. Yeah, there's a bunch of there's on the car biting it.
Okay.
But
I missed it.
Yeah. So and then this is the last time you see.
Okay, I can see now where they said the Critters kind of ripped it off because Corey's got a slingshot, Bradley has a slingshot.
Yeah, that's the last time you see Corey Feldman. So, does he live? Does he die? We don't know. We assume that he lives because he was fending off his house. Now he can just close the window and maybe they'll help him, right?
I mean, I would hope he lived because he killed Jason in the same year, and it would suck if he got taken out by Gremlins.
But look, it's a different character. But so, do you feel like these cops are dead right there? Do you feel like
I feel like they are, but you never know.
You don't see them no more. So that's why I said, well, you assume that all these people were dying, except for like the guy who got his hand eaten in the mailbox because he could have still survived. But
yeah, if he got to the emergency room, it could have,
yeah, but
stopped the blood loss. Yeah.
But anyway, now we're just talking about nonsense in this film. My overall thoughts about Gremlins. All right, this is the scene I was telling about. Like with at the bar.
Okay, yeah, I remember it.
So just like that scene there.
The streaker.
Yeah. He's a flasher. It's not a streaker. Streaker's running naked.
He's gonna run.
Flashers just open up there.
Yeah, he's gonna run.
Now I do see that they got to show the different variations of the Gremlins in this. Like they have one getting alcohol in his belly and his belly just rising. They Stripe and them are playing cards. There's I don't know if it's a male gremlin or a female gremlin, but
if it's the sequel, I can tell you which one.
Yeah, there's literally a female gremlin in the sequel. But yeah, that's a gremlin, and he has makeup on. Like it's just
they drinking, they smoking,
eating popcorn. They just chilling, having a good time. Oh, he does shoot a gremlin. I forget about that.
Must have been cheating at cards.
Yeah, and then look, the gremlin got sunglasses on. I would ask you a question, but I'm not going to. But
right, Charles?
No, like I was wondering if like the Gremlins, man, like what's up with them? Like, are they just like they're weird, man? Like what are they? Like what? Like are they mimicking? They're essentially mimicking humans. Like this was like it's supposed to be noir, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're mimicking humans. You know,
I never understood the puppet one. But anyway, and this is Flashdance.
Mimicking Puppeteers.
American Flashdance, but and Breaking, I guess, which came out same year. But yeah, it's a movie, man. Like the scene here is like it's too
Just
much. It's just
took you out of it, huh?
yeah. And then like I'm glad they end up killing them all. And then like it's just Stripe that they have to deal with really. Well,
Yeah.
it was like take them out to the movies. They kill them in the movie theater. Stripe gets away because he goes to get more candy, and then like he sees them. Then they follow him into the mall. And was it a mall? Or was it just a store? It's a really big store, I think.
I want to say it's a store.
Also, in this one, Gizmo saw the racing movie,
Yeah.
and so he wanted to race. In the sequel, he sees Rambo, and so he wants to be Rambo. I think honestly, Brandon, I hate to say it, but I think I like the sequel more in
Wow.
this movie than this original because I think it has a lot more. I love the idea that they have different types of gremlins, like the electrical
I'm
gremlin,
afraid what
the
your score is
spider
going to be.
gremlin.
I really
Uh,
am. I'm really afraid
you
here.
know, yeah, we can. I guess we can go ahead and get to it because we done went to an hour on
Yeah.
Gremlins. I know that people tune in to see like what did we think. Brandon, what did you ultimately think about this movie?
What do I think about this movie? I think it is a fun movie. Uh, I try my best to judge it on the '80s and not today.
Yeah.
Because if I judged it on today, it just really wouldn't hold up. But if I judged it when it came out in 1984, I was like, well, this movie's a fun movie. It's a great movie. I wouldn't say great, but it's a good movie. You can have fun with the characters. You can have fun with the Gremlins. You will love Gizmo. So ultimately it checks everything off as far as the fun factor. But I'm not gonna lie to you. That last act, I'm
Takes you out.
kind of zoned out, not paying attention as much as I was in the first two, and I feel like it drags. I feel like this movie could have ended at around 85 to 90 minutes instead of
Yeah.
hour and 46. So I kind of feel like it dragged a bit. But ultimately, I still enjoyed it. I still would watch it again, but I feel every time I do watch, as I said earlier,
You like it less and
I
less.
like it less and less. So
I'm ready to go for the marks.
let's go for the marks.
You want to give yours first, or you want to hear mine first?
I think mine will be higher a little bit.
Let's go for yours.
I think it will. Well, you say you like two better now, so it kind of gives me a bad vibe there. But I'm gonna give it 3.5 marks out of 5.
Okay. All right. I give this movie 3 marks out of 5.
I figured that's where you were going.
Yeah, I was, because I don't want to give it 2 or 2.5 because I actually do like it. I think now it's more or less the nostalgia factor in it for me, but overall, it's not it's not one of my favorite films. As a matter of fact, when we did our favorite list, was it towards the top of my list?
I think
If
so.
we had to revisit it, it probably wouldn't be. But
Nah, it wouldn't have made my best 80s
but
films now.
but
I
yeah.
do think it was on there.
But yeah, I looked at this but it's funny because a movie like this, like you said, the more you watch it, the less you like it. Whereas you watch like a Ghostbusters movie, the more you watch it, the more you like it.
Yeah.
Or even like we mentioned, Critters. I love Critters every time I see it. It's just it doesn't get old to me. The first Critters because I don't know, and it's like for instance, Tremors. I can watch Tremors and it will never get old to me because it's just Tremors is a classic to me.
Yeah.
But just Gremlins, I think that
I don't like
when I was
how I
kid,
ever
did you see
hated.
E.T.?
Yeah, I saw E.T.
But yeah, it just I feel like this movie. It's not that it's not that I hate it. I feel like that it just doesn't hold up, and then it's like a one trick pony essentially. Once you see Gizmo, you're like, oh okay. Once you see that he multiplies and has the other Gremlins, you're like, oh, mogwais, you're like, okay. But then once they become the Gremlins, you're like, okay, and then they wreak havoc. But after they wreak havoc, so it's like not consistent. So they go from like vicious killing creatures that's killing people or trying to kill people, and to like playing in a bar and being all comical.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't mix,
You know what? What I am shocked about this franchise They only got 2 movies.
The second movie, I'd say, I hated the way Gizmo looked right there too. You can tell it was like a different type of robot.
Yeah.
It looked more like a race car that just moved like this. It just looked terrible. But yeah,
He stayed relevant though. I mean,
yeah. I mean, he did. I mean, he's still relevant today. There's still pop vinyls and stuff like that of Gizmo.
So it's just shocking there hasn't been that third film.
But I think that if they were to make the movie today, I think that the movie would be successful. I think that.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I think that you could do more with it, and I think that you can even lean into the sequel a bit and say, well, hey, let's play with the idea of having multiple type of gremlins that have different type of varieties. I love the idea in the sequel with gremlins that
they do need to have their own personalities and
like I love the smart gremlin in the sequel. I love like I said, the lightning gremlin, the spider gremlin, the bat gremlin. I love the different ideas of those. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like the only one that looked different to me is Stripe. Stripe is the only one that literally looked different. Maybe it's because he's the first one to pop out of Gizmo. I don't know, but it just like I don't know. It doesn't hold up well for me, and it's sad because I love Gizmo. I love Gremlins. Sorry. I love Gizmo. This toy is from like 1980, from when I was a child. This is my literal child toy from when I was a kid. I still had onto it, but yeah, it's just that I love Gizmo, but not so much the Gremlins.
The movie.
Yeah.
Itself. You don't love the movie. But
yeah, I love the concept, and I think that they could do more with it. That's the best Gizmo looked in this movie.
He's driving a car.
Yeah. That close-up scene, in my opinion. But I think he looked so much better in the sequel. I thought they said they made him look he looked wilder in this one. They made him look more kept, clean and stuff.
I mean, I'll eventually get the sequel. I just,
I know.
There's certain films I won't get sequels to, but because I just really hate it. I didn't hate Gremlins 2. I don't know. It was so different from the first movie. But now I'm watching it again. They started playing with the comedy aspect to it. So I think they were setting up. If they did a sequel, that would be more comical.
It was more meta than it really, like, it was before its time. Like, it would probably go over well today. Something like that breaks the fourth wall and doesn't take itself so seriously.
Like Deadpool does.
Yeah, it would go over well. But then people wanted Gremlins, and they didn't. They feel like that's not what they got, I think. But that's why it was a bomb, I guess. It might have made money, but it wasn't. It didn't, But
I mean, it had to be a bomb because there was no more. So
yeah. But all right, this is the end. Next week we're going back to the future. So I'm gonna be choosing Back to the Future. We'll have more fun with that one, I think, because that's one of those movies that never get old to me.
That's like your favorite. Top favorites
of
all time.
Favorite, yeah. It's like if I had to make a list of favorite films of all time, that'd be like
that's too hard.
Yeah, I won't do that to you.
I mean, literally, it's just too hard.
His brain would break.
It would.
But yeah, in the meantime and in between time,
it breaks enough during the list.
Aaron Whitlow,
Brandon Spivey.
Thank you for marking out with us here on the Markout Movie Podcast. We're gonna see